A woman was home alone baking when someone secretly locked the door and picked up the knife on the table. By the time she noticed, she was frightened. From his clothes, she recognized the man was a prisoner.
Look, I'm gonna stay out, and you're gonna help me.
After learning the man was an escaped convict, Mary lied and said her husband would be home soon, hoping to scare him off. But the man wasn't afraid, since he had already overheard outside that her husband wouldn't be home until evening. Realizing she couldn't fool Kurt, Mary asked what he wanted. Kurt didn't say right away, but told Mary to do as he said. Then he turned on the radio to hear the latest police updates. Just as he was changing the station, the phone rang. To avoid suspicion, Kurt hurriedly pulled Mary over to answer, but as they reached the phone, the ringing stopped. At that moment, Kurt realized the phone might be a party line. Mary explained their home phone rings one long, two short, one long. Kurt instantly flew into a rage, feeling Mary was messing with him. Why hadn't she told him earlier? Mary looked innocent. She'd been dragged there against her will. But Kurt wouldn't listen to her explanation. Instead, he became lecherous, making unwanted advances. He threatened her, saying with such a good chance, he didn't mind another crime. As Mary was about to fall prey, a news report on the radio caught Kurt's attention and distracted him. That's how Mary learned the man was a murderer and robber sentenced to 396 years, and police were searching for him. While the police gave a detailed report, Kurt was secretly delighted. He turned off the radio, sure today was his lucky day. The area the police searched was in the opposite direction from him, which put him in a good mood. He told Mary to make something good to eat, and to prevent tricks, Kurt warned her to behave or the only outcome would be death. For Kurt, he had already given up on everything. He didn't care what happened anymore.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Kurt couldn't help but brag his luck at spending just 3 years in prison. He escaped by hiding in a laundry basket while the driver looked away, then came here for good food and company. Thinking that he still had plenty of time, Kurt started to get restless. Of course, Mary sensed this and tried to keep her distance, but Kurt grabbed her wrist.
I like your wrist. It's just the way I like it.
You must like your mother very much, I guess.
After hearing what she said, Kurt let go of Mary's hand and looked at the tattoo on his hand, an abbreviation of his mother's name, which was his way of remembering her. Even though he wasn't a good person, he was a good son. At this moment, police helicopters searched for Kurt from above and reported to headquarters, wrongly thinking Kurt hid after hearing them, unaware they were searching the wrong place. Kurt wanted to find a gun, but Mary said there wasn't one in the house. Kurt couldn't understand. Why keep one? To Mary, guns are for killing, and since neither she nor her husband take lives, they have no use for one. Seeing no gun, Kurt asked where the money was.
Not much, just what's in my purse.
Facing Kurt's suspicion that she was lying, Mary explained the family wasn't well off, then took out her wallet. Kurt opened it and saw there was only some small change inside, which left him disappointed. Suddenly, the phone rang. One long, two short, one long ring, meaning it was for Mary. Kurt quickly pushed her to the phone, threatened her with a knife, told her to answer as he said, and handed her the receiver. The caller was Mary's mother, asking if her husband was home. With Kurt by her side, giving hints and instructions, Mary answered all the questions truthfully. After hanging up, Kurt praised her for doing a good job. As soon as he finished, the sound of a car engine came from outside. Kurt quickly pulled Mary to the window to check, and saw a car stopping outside. This made Kurt nervous, and he was eager to find out who it was.
I said, who is it?
My neighbor, Mrs. Martin, and her little girl.
Don't let her in. Don't match that screen. Just get rid of her.
Kurt brought Mary over, telling her not to let anyone outside notice anything unusual. Although Mary nodded in agreement, Kurt still watched to keep watch. They exchanged brief greetings and Mrs. Martin, out of habit, tried to enter.
What's the matter? Let me in.
Mrs. Martin insisted on coming in, even though Martin said he had a cold and was afraid of passing it to the children. Mrs. Martin said not to worry and still tried to come in. Martin said it was best not to. Seeing him act strangely, Mrs. Martin wondered if something was wrong. She thought Martin might be sick, but he didn't look it, so she suspected he had argued with his wife. Not wanting to drag it out, Martin hurried Mrs. Martin to leave, making it clear she wasn't welcome. Not knowing the truth, Mrs. Martin was hurt, thinking she had overstepped, and angrily drove away. Still uneasy, Kurt went outside to check. While he wasn't paying attention, Mary quickly locked the door again. But that didn't stop Kurt. He used a knife to cut a slit in the screen window, reached in, and opened the door. Seeing he was angry, Mary ran and hid in a room, moved a chair to block the door, but she was too weak and Kurt quickly forced it open. Kurt warned her not to do anything reckless and to think before she acts.
Now take it easy.
Please leave me alone, please.
Kurt didn't understand why Mary acted this way and tried to comfort her, saying there was nothing to fear. He put the knife back in his pocket and asked Mary to get clothes ready so he could freshen up. As for the gun and money, Kurt hoped Mary hadn't lied, because he liked her and didn't want to hurt her. Following Mary's directions, Kurt picked clean clothes from the closet. To avoid making Mary uncomfortable, Kurt changed in the bathroom. Meanwhile, police were still analyzing where Kurt might be, guessing he tried to escape again after dark. After cleaning up, Kurt looked more energetic and handsome. When he saw it was already 6 p.m. and getting dark, he realized Mary's husband would be home soon, so he got ready to leave and planned to hijack a car. He thought if he could make it through tonight, things would get easier. What Mary didn't expect was that Kurt wanted to take her with him. Terrified, she begged him not to, saying she'd just get in the way. But Kurt didn't need Mary as a cover. He just found her special. When Mary resisted, Kurt grabbed her and insisted everything would turn out fine.
But I'd only make a mistake. I'll give you away and...
I said be quiet! What's the matter, you deaf?
Kurt hurried to the window to see what was happening outside. After making sure the car had left, he realized it was a false alarm. Once calm, he apologized to Mary, telling her to listen and act quickly, not always react so slowly. He handed his wallet to Mary and told her what to do, but Mary didn't want to go with him and begged him not to do this, promising to keep his secret. But Kurt had made up his mind and wouldn't agree, instead yelling at her to stop ruining his mood. This forced Mary to quiet down, and Kurt grabbed her to make their escape. But as soon as they opened the door, they were caught by police officers hiding nearby. The police had set up an ambush outside the house. Faced with this defeat, Kurt had no choice but to surrender. He couldn't understand how, despite being careful, he was discovered so easily. Curious, he asked the detective how they knew he was there.
You told us.
Kurt learned from the detective that he was exposed when he had Mary answer the phone, because Mary is deaf but still responded fluently. Mary's mother sensed something was wrong, and after hearing the news on the radio, she called the police. Mary could communicate because she could read lips. Looking back, Kurt wasn't really lucky. Sometimes, no matter how carefully you plan, fate intervenes.